Hello and welcome to my channel. I hope you enjoy this story. I'm going to try and upload a new story each day. The Cursed Lullaby. Holly Arnold stood at the edge of the desolate forest, gazing at the crumbling mansion perched on the cliffs of the Isle of Wight. She had heard the stories of a haunted nursery, an ancient curse, but she was determined to uncover the truth. Holly, a historian with a passion for the paranormal, had always been drawn to the mysterious and unexplained. The tales of the cursed music box intrigued her, and she had come to the island to investigate. The mansion, known as Blackwood Manor, had been abandoned for over a century. Locals whispered of eerie sounds and ghostly apparitions, but no one dared to venture inside. Holly, however, was not easily deterred. She had spent years studying haunted locations and had faced her fair share of supernatural encounters. This, she believed, would be no different. As Holly approached the mansion, the wind howled through the gnarled trees, carrying with it an unsettling chill. She pushed open the creaking gate and made her way up the overgrown path, her flashlight cutting through the darkness. The front door, barely hanging on its hinges, groaned as she pushed it open. Inside, the air was thick with dust and the scent of decay. Cobwebs draped the once grand staircase, and faded portraits of the Blackwood family stared down at her with hollow eyes. Holly shivered, but pressed on, her footsteps echoing through the empty halls. The nursery was on the second floor, at the end of a long, narrow corridor. As Holly walked, she felt a strange sensation, as if she were being watched. She glanced over her shoulder, but saw nothing. She reached the door to the nursery and hesitated for a moment before pushing it open. The room was eerily preserved, as if time had stood still. A small crib sat in the corner, draped in a tattered lace canopy. Toys lay scattered across the floor, and a rocking chair creaked slowly back and forth, though there was no breeze to move it. Holly's eyes were drawn to the center of the room, where a delicate music box rested on a dusty table. The music box was intricately crafted, with ornate carvings of angels and flowers. Holly approached it cautiously, her heart pounding in her chest. She reached out and lifted the lid. The haunting melody began to play, soft and sweet, yet deeply unsettling. It filled the room, echoing off the walls and resonating in Holly's bones. She felt an inexplicable pull, as if the music were drawing her in, beckoning her closer to something unseen. As the melody played, the room seemed to shift around her. The shadows grew darker, deeper, and the temperature dropped. Holly shivered, but couldn't tear her eyes away from the music box. She felt the presence behind her, cold and malevolent. Slowly, she turned. The ghostly figure of a woman stood before her, her eyes hollow and her face twisted in sorrow. She reached out the translucent hand, and Holly felt a wave of cold wash over her. "Help me," the ghost whispered, her voice barely audible over the music. Holly's breath caught in her throat. "Who are you?" she managed to ask. The ghost's expression grew pained. "I am Alina Blackwood. My child, my baby, was taken from me. The curse. It binds us here. The music box. It is the key." Holly glanced at the music box, its melody weaving a spell around her. "What must I do?" "Destroy it," Alina pleaded. "Break the curse. Free us." Holly nodded, determination hardening in her chest. She lifted the music box and held it to the ground. The fragile wood splintered, and the melody came to an abrupt halt. A deafening silence followed, broken only by the ghostly wail of Alina Blackwood. The room began to tremble, the walls cracking and the floor buckling beneath Holly's feet. She stumbled back, her eyes wide with fear. The ghostly figures of the Blackwood family materialized around her, their faces twisted in anguish. They reached out, their cold hands grasping at her, pulling her towards the shadows. "Ah!" Holly screamed, fighting against their grip. "I've broken the curse. You should be free." But the ghosts did not release her. The shadows closed in, swallowing her screams, pulling her deeper into the darkness. The last thing Holly heard was the faint, haunting melody of the cursed lullaby echoing through the void. When the locals found the mansion the next day, they discovered the shattered music box and the empty nursery. Holly Arnold was never seen again, her fate sealed by the curse she had sought to break. The legend of the cursed lullaby lived on, a warning to those who dared to venture into the haunted halls of Blackwood Manor. Years passed, and Blackwood Manor remained a forsaken relic on the Isle of Wight. The legend of Holly Arnold's disappearance spread, becoming a chilling tale told around campfires and in hushed whispers at the local pub. Despite the warnings, curiosity often got the better of adventurous souls, and the allure of the haunted mansion drew a few daring explorers each year. One such adventurer was Michael, a paranormal investigator with a popular online channel. Michael had heard about Holly's disappearance and the cursed music box and was determined to document his findings. Equipped with the latest ghost hunting gear, he set out to unravel the mysteries of Blackwood Manor. As he approached the mansion, Michael felt a prickling sensation at the back of his neck, a sign that something otherworldly was near. He had experienced this before, but never so intensely. Undeterred, he pressed on, filming his every step and narrating for his audience. "Here we are," Michael said, his voice steady despite the growing unease. "Blackwood Manor, the site of the infamous Cursed Lullaby and the disappearance of Holly Arnold. Tonight, we uncover the truth." He pushed open the gate and made his way up the overgrown path, his flashlight slicing through the gloom. The front door creaked open, revealing the dusty, decayed interior. Michael's camera captured the eerie scene, the faded portraits, and the grand staircase. "Legend has it that Holly Arnold disappeared in the nursery," Michael continued, his voice echoing in the empty hall. "We'll start there." He climbed the stairs, each step creaking under his weight. The corridor stretched out before him, dark and foreboding. Michael walked slowly, his camera capturing every detail. At the end of the corridor, he found the door to the nursery. Taking a deep breath, he pushed the door open. The room was just as Holly had described in her notes, the small crib, the scattered toys, the rocking chair. And on the table, the shattered remains of the music box. Michael approached the table, his flashlight illuminating the broken pieces. He reached out and touched the remnants of the music box, half expecting it to play its haunting melody. But there was only silence. Suddenly, the temperature dropped, and Michael felt a cold breeze brush past him. He turned, his camera capturing the ethereal figure of a woman, Delina Blackwood. "Help us," she whispered, her voice filled with sorrow. Michael's heart raced, but he remained calm. "How can I help you?" he asked, his voice steady. Alina's ghostly eyes locked onto his. "The curse binds us still, the music box. It must be restored and then destroyed with intent to break the spell fully." Michael nodded, understanding the gravity of the task. He gathered the pieces of the music box, carefully placing them in his bag. He knew a craftsman on the island who specialized in restoring antiques. It would be a delicate job, but it had to be done. Back in the village, Michael found the craftsman, an elderly man named Arthur. He explained the situation, leaving out the supernatural details. Arthur agreed to restore the music box, intrigued by the challenge. Over the next few days, Michael documented the restoration process. As Arthur worked, Michael delved deeper into the history of Blackwood Manor, uncovering a dark past filled with tragedy and loss. The Blackwood family had been plagued by misfortune, their sorrowful legacy culminating in the curse that bound their spirits. When the music box was finally restored, Michael felt a sense of both dread and determination. He returned to Blackwood Manor, the music box in hand. The night was dark and stormy, the perfect setting for the final act. In the nursery, Michael placed the restored music box on the table. He lifted the lid, and a haunting melody began to play, filling the room with its eerie tune. The ghosts of the Blackwood family materialized around him, their faces etched with longing and despair. With a deep breath, Michael smashed the music box with a heavy hammer, shattering it into pieces once more. As the last note faded, the ghosts let out a collective sigh, their forms dissolving into the air. The room brightened, the oppressive atmosphere lifting. Michael felt a wave of relief wash over him. He had done it, he had broken the curse. As he turned to leave, a figure appeared in the doorway. It was Holly Arnold, her eyes filled with gratitude. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "You set us free." Michael nodded, tears in his eyes. "Rest in peace, Holly." Holly's figure shimmered and vanished, leaving Michael alone in the nursery. He packed up his equipment and left the mansion, knowing that the spirits of Blackwood Manor were finally at peace. Michael's video of the investigation went viral, but he never returned to the Isle of Wight. The haunted mansion stood empty, a relic of a dark past. And though the cursed lullaby was silenced, the memory of those who suffered remained, a reminder of the thin veil between the living and the dead. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this story. Please don't forget to like, and even better, like and subscribe. Thank you very much, and I hope you have had or have a great day.